Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Renee Hyatt. Welcome back to Tutorial Tuesday. Today is week 5. Can you believe it already? And we are going to be working on the 5 diamond block. And that block is right here. It consists of 2 units. The first one being the center. So the diamond center, which is a square and a square unit, that's going to be really easy. We're going to make 9 of those. And then our second unit is going to be the star point unit. Now this one is a little tricky, but I'm going to give you a couple tips to make it go really easy. The biggest part is going to be keeping your orientation. And you know me, I got tips for you for that. And then at the end of today's session, I have a few extra tips for you, since a lot of this is going to be repeat on the technique. So I hope you'll hang with me. Alrighty, so let's get started on the construction and just a few extra tips on this particular star point block. It's very important that you keep your orientation, and you're going to want to make sure that you've laid out the block proper on your plate to match the way the unit will be when it's finished. So we have our background in the center, and we cut those precision cut with our squared ruler. And then we're going to have on 2 sides the green accent 1, and then on 2 sides the accent 3, which is the pink. Okay, now just like I always do, we're only going to work on 2 sides at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and move these off to the side and just focus on the particular unit I'm going to make first. So I'm going to see it, flip it, and stitch it. So it will look like this. Now, I go ahead and chain piece all of these, and there's this little new gadget on the market that is it's called a Blade Saver thread cutter. And what it does is it allows you to put your recycled blades that still have a little left in them, but you know, they have that blip that drives me crazy all the time, as you know and have experienced. And this is made by a lady in California, and she prints them on her 3D printer, and you're able to recycle your blade. So check them out. I have a few of them on my website. So I would go ahead and power stitch all of these because we know that we've worked on our 1/4 inch last week, so we're pretty confident that we could go ahead and piece all these. So just a reminder on pressing. That you want to make sure that you're always pressing the side, the side that you're going to press towards, you're going to put on the top. So I'm going to set my seam, and I'm going to finger press, and then press. And this allows me to get a nice straight seam, nice straight, seam that's folded back. And then it also ensures that I'm checking at this time, because I'm feeling with my fingers that I don't have any lips. So we're going to go ahead and continue pressing those. I won't bore you with all that. Next, you're going to bring that unit back that's pressed and put it on your plate. You'll then turn your plate so that you can always flip to the left. And now I'm going to see it, flip it. Again, center that square up on that half square triangle, making sure you have about equal on each side, and go ahead and stitch that like this, right? And we've stitched with our center square on top because it's a precision cut. Then we're going to press it, finger press and press. I won't bore you with it. We are then going to remember to trim those dog ears, right? So after you get the 2 sides on, you want to make sure you've created a nice straight ledge. And we're going to go ahead and bring this back onto our plate. And I'm going to go ahead and bring back my half square triangles that I moved off to the side. And then I'm going to continue on with my see it, flip it, and now you only have a little bit sticking out on each side, and you're going to put down your best 1/4 inch, right? So I've sewn it on, press, finger press, press. And now I'm going to put it back on my plate. Make sure that it's oriented properly. I only have one side left. Oh, let me grab one that's pressed. There we go. And then I'm going to see it, flip it, split the difference again, and stitch it. Then I have my unit. Again, I'm going to put my half square triangle on top, set my seam, finger press, press, and voila, I end up with my star point square in a square. So the righties, remember, will have their square square set horizontally. We're going to set up those 3 or 4 or 5 crosshairs. And I have my camera in a little bit better position today, so hopefully this will work out better. I'm going to cut up the side, come in about 1 inch in, do a little roll back and go forward. And the reason for that is so I don't nick my blade. Then I'm going to turn my unit 180 degrees. Line up my 3.5. Some of you will do 4.5. Some of you will do 5.5. And my crosshairs should fall right back into place. Remember, mine are always a thread or 2 off the center, which I just love because it'll really helpful next week when we go to put our units together and I come in and go across, making that perfect. One of these days I won't have blade problems. When I'm off camera I never have any blade problems, but it seems I do here all the time. Alright, so that's for our righties. And then our lefties will do the same, except for they'll turn their ruler so that the verbiage is closest to them. I'm going to line up my 3s. Again, some of you might be doing 4s or 5s. Come up to the left, swish the tush a bit, come in 1 inch, do a roll back and go forward. Then turn it 180 degrees. Line up that 3.5. Some of you will do 4.5 or 5.5. My 3 crosshairs should fall back into place. Some 4, some 5. I go up the side, come in, do a little roll back, and go forward. And there I have my unit. Then you're going to repeat the same. You're going to make 36 of them, by the way. And now you'll have your square in a square, your diamond, which is really easy peasy. We have our accent 3 in the center, and then our accent 1 on all 4 corners. And you're going to go through the same process where you'll place 1 side on, 2 sides on, trim the dog ears, 3 sides on, until you get to the 4 sides. And then remember to trim it up to perfection. Right? So our 3 for the righty, and then our 3s lined up with a longer for my lefties. And that's it for today. Alrighty then, I hope you learned something new today with the 5 diamond block, and you'll get them all made for next week as far as your units. Remember, you don't have to put your blocks together. I have great tips for you in the next 2 weeks on those 2 blocks, putting them together. I did want to share with you a couple extra tips today, since our session is a little bit short. When I do guild shows and lectures and such, I often get asked on the folding of my quilts. So here is my sparkle quilt, and this one has our famous V-block unit in it that we started with on week 3. So what I like to do is when I'm storing my quilts, I always like to, if they're completed quilts, bound, I want to fold the piecing inside. And I like to fold on the 30-degree angle. It helps keep less wrinkles when you fold it. It also, I find, when you're trying to get it into a specific space, it works a lot better. You get a lot better usage or room in your, in other words, you're able to fold it in a way that fits more ideally and uses less space. For instance, if you're putting them all in a suitcase and such. Anyhow, so I fold it down on a 30-degree angle, and then I'm going to fold it in half, give it a little shake, And then I typically fold it my arm's length worth. It depends on what you're putting it in, but the package, you know, the particular unit that I keep my quilts in when I travel, it usually works out for me to fold it at this stage. And then I'm going to go down and fold it to fit the width of whatever I'm putting it in. This could be for a shelf as well. And so it's a nice, easy package. When you're folding your quilts that have not yet been quilted, this is my Sunset on the Sound, which was a mystery last year and is going to be released as a pattern later this year. This also has tons of E-block units in it, which I just love this quilt. Anyhow, when you're folding something that is unquilted, in other words, you have all these exposed seams, you want to make sure that you're folding them inside the quilt. Because those could get caught on something or snag, and you only have a 1/4 inch of seam there. So you want to make sure that you're protecting that seam. So on piece quilts, I just fold them normally. I do try and keep the edges in, so I'll fold that outside edge a little short of my fold here so that it's protected. And then typically I'll also do the same with that final border so that basically nothing is exposed that's a raw edge. So I hope this helped you, and I hope you'll join me for week 6. Take care, everyone.